Good morning to all my brothers and sisters out there. I hope that you woke up and you have asked God to thank Him for protecting you last night and for waking you up this morning. But I got something that I really want to share with you, and I just want you to follow the story. That's all I want you to do. And the thing that I'm going to talk about, how God can take nobody and make them somebody. And I'm gonna use me for an example, but I'm also you're gonna use a scripture that was in the Bible. How you think that you at your last moment, when God see that you at mercy, He gonna pick you up. Follow the story about my life. I grew up in the South. I grew up in a family of 12 in a little small house. Had outhouses and all this kind of stuff. I worked on the farm most of my life. And so, but again, I was always out of the 12, I was always used as the guinea pig, I assume, because it seemed as though that I'm the one that received most of the punishment. But I said that to say this: no matter where you started, it's how you finish. My mother gave us the very best she had. She couldn't give us something she didn't have. But what she did give us, that love and protection, even though she may not express it, but we know it was there. As I said, I've almost drowned it 3 times at a young age. First in my well, then out the two rivers behind us. Okay. I've been in shootouts as a young age. I could have got killed walking down the street. They're going to kill a young man over a woman. You understand? I witnessed killing right in my face as a young man. And the point what I'm trying to make you, my mother, through God, after she got me out of jail for so many times, she said, son, please go in the military because you're going to get killed or someone's going to kill you. So I did that, and I didn't tell her anything. So I went and joined the military. I took the test down in New Orleans, passed everything, and the guy said, "Look, we got an opening next week, January the 9th." I said, "Man, I can't leave on January the 9th. That's my birthday, man. I got to have a little time with my girl. You know what I mean?" So I said, "Let's set it up for March." So got home, cut the bus back home, called myself going to surprise my mother, but she had a surprise for me. And when I walked in, I said, "Mother, you're not gonna believe this. I'm going to military." She said, "Boy, you ain't going to military, boy." And she played me. And I said, "I'm leaving in March." And she said, "Say you swear to God, boy." And back down south, you got to go through this ritual here, here, left, right. So that was the only time I wanted to plead the fifth because I knew what I was talking about. And she said, "Oh, by the way, your recruiter called me and he told me that you passed the test, you met all the requirements, and you wanted to leave in March. And he said you didn't want to leave January 9th. And I told him to keep that day open. I want you to get back on that bus and go and sign those papers that you're going to leave January 9th. I need to get you out of here." That's where it started. I left January 9th on my birthday. I first went through basic training, Lackland Air Force Base. Quite an experience. I'll tell all my young brothers out there that if you want to live a long life, you need to start in the military because if you can't deal with the military, you can't deal with nothing. That's where the discipline fade. That's where the camaraderie starts at. So once I finished the basic training, they made me a military police. So I went to military police training, AZR, down in Lackland Air Force Base. My first duty station was Vandenberg Air Force Base, California. So I got to California, and believe me or not, everybody gonna know me. I always lived in the gym. Gym was my second home. I don't care where I was stationed at. If I wasn't working, you would probably see me in the gym playing basketball or doing something athletic or lifting weights. So after I left Vandenberg Air Force Base, I went and moved to Thailand, NKP Thailand, none come for none. And I had some quite an experience over there. I worked the border. Uh, I walked the Laotian border, and I worked in bunkers and towers and around the perimeter. That was my first duty station. I mean, second duty station. So I left there, came back to England Air Force Base, stayed there, and I left. They sent me right back to NKP. That's when they were closing the base down. Now I'm going to say this, and I mean to say this. When I say they can take somebody and make them into nobody, when I went back, I experienced a lot of things that I have a problem dealing with today. I was walking along the Mekong River, and I saw all these peoples across the river, and these people we was bombing Laotian, and all these peoples along the border, they was begging, they was quadriplegic, and they was begging to come across. Now I'm witnessing this, and I was off that day. And as they was begging to come across, we had that little river full of people trying to get them across. And if you didn't have an ID card, they said you're back. So sadly to say, I had to help those people. But you got to understand, if you came across and you didn't have the proper identification, they're gonna send you back. And I seen these people begging, please don't send me back. And that stayed with me for many years. So when I came back, I got stationed at Barksdale Air Force Base. And again, everywhere I went, everybody know me because I lived in the gym. That was my life, in the gym, playing basketball or lifting weight. If I wasn't working, I was in the gym. So I stayed at Barksdale Air Force Base for a long time. Then I moved there and moved to Aviano Air Base, Italy. And that's where my fitness started. I went to Aviano Air Force Base. I stayed there several years. And I played basketball all over Europe and played sports, football, and playing pool, racquetball. And then again, I became a fitness specialist at Aviano Air Base. I was a colonel called Colonel Lester P. Brown. He called me and said, man, I've been hearing about you. Could you teach us a class, teach these boys overweight about a class? I said, you can't say no to the base commander. I said, I don't know anything about it, but I can't come up with a routine. So I came up with a routine like push-ups, sit-ups, calisthenics, and you got to understand, this was mandatory that anybody within a certain amount of weight, you better be there. So I worked a plan out. The first Monday, I'm gonna tell you, the place was packed. These son gun colonels and all these master sergeants, them son gun came in there overweight. And you know the first thing they said to me, you got to take it easy on us old force because we ain't in the condition that you are in. I said, we're gonna scratch out first, and that was the first big problem right there. Half of them couldn't scratch, they couldn't touch their toes. So I went through routine, we stretched out, and then all of a sudden I started doing jumping jacks, and that when the pain started coming in. And believe me, after the class, everybody was walking limped. And during the classes, hey man, come on, man, slow it down a little bit. But then again, you must understand, Colonel Brown was right there looking at him. And if you didn't sign in, you got to report to him. I'm talking about commanders and everybody. So I became a celebrity at Aviano. And so I worked in the gym. They gave me a job in the gym after school. And that was right up my alley. That's how I learned how to play racquetball. That's how I became a European champion, racquetball. But I played sports. I ran track and field. I coached the track and field in Italy. We went to Europe. We went to Jesse Orange Stadium. I coached the track team. We went to Berlin. This was all when I was in Italy. And I thank God that he was around me. Let me tell you something else, is that coaching the team in Italy was quite an experience. I'll tell anyone, the Italian people are some of the best people you want to meet. That's where I started my career. And then I started teaching fitness on the economy. And everybody on the base, they found out that, man, we got a lunchtime class. And all the civilians began to come to my class. But I got away from the calisthenics and I started doing something they call jazzercise. And I thought up a routine. And believe me, it was Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That Wednesday, the second Wednesday, these guys came in there limping and they trying to make me feel sorry for them. But the colonel was right there. Did you sign in? Sometimes they'll try to sign in and try to go into the sauna. But no, if you sign in, you better stay there until the end. So again, make a long story short, when I was in Italy, that's where I almost got into a major car wreck. I got into a major car wreck. I was medevac to Germany. It was one of the worst car wrecks you can ever imagine. When I say that when God is for you, boy, ain't nothing gonna happen to you. I'm a witness to that. So they medevac me. They called a plane in. They sent. I traveled from Italy to Germany. I stayed in the hospital for a long time. And when I got out, there was an old lady that I stayed in her apartment, and that lady took care of me like a son. Every morning, she had a key to my apartment, and she came in and bought me soup and bought me anything. She nourished me like a mother. And that's why I say I love the Italian people. So, as make a long story short, let me tell you something else that happened to me. There was an old lady came to my job. She said that I'm looking for a black man that I want to give a bedroom set to. So I said, okay. She said, do you speak Italian? I said, yep. Now, you got to understand, I had 3 Italian teachers from the day I got there. They started teaching me Italian. They gave me assignment every morning. So, and I told them in Italian, I said, can you come back tomorrow? I'll let a guy know. She came back the next day. She said, hey, I'm looking for a black man. I don't know his name. And the lady came upstairs and she said, there's a woman down here looking for you. And I said, okay. I go down there. I saw, I said, I got somebody that's going to take your furniture. I mean, take that bed. We went there and picked the bedroom, set up the next day, gave it to a staff sergeant, had a lot of kids. And so 2 days later, the old lady came back to my job, said, I'm looking for his name. And they know who she was talking about. So I go downstairs. She bought me some apples and cheese and stuff. She wanted to thank me. And I didn't think anything of it, but I looked at her as my mother. So again, every day she came back, bought me, and then she stayed right up the street from where I worked at, civil engineering. And so I got a liking to her, and she got a liking to me. I looked at her as my mother, but I also looked at her as just an old lady with. Now, I'm going to show you now, she didn't know nothing about me. I started picking this lady up, started taking her to the market, picking her cheese and all. The Italian believe in getting that fresh bread, cheese. And all of a sudden, the woman, I didn't know who she was. I take her to the market every morning before work. And then she started buying me some stuff. And then she started telling people, that's my son. That's my black son. And everybody looked at me and said, man, why this? I know this old lady, but why is she hanging around with this black dude that she don't know nothing about? And so make a long story short, she became my mother. And she wrote my mother and said, don't worry about your son. I'm going to take care of him. That's my son now. All right. Show you how things work. I picked her up every morning. The next door neighbor said, hey, sir, can I talk to you? And I said, yes. He said, do you know who that lady is? I said, no. She's a very nice lady. She said, that's the one of the richest ladies around here. Her son is the president of the Italian in Rome, Italy. She said, that woman don't trust nobody. And we wanted to know who you were. I said, I was military. And they called the son and told the son, look, man, they got this black guy, man, your mom, he come pick your mom up. So he came up to Aviana and he introduced himself. He said, man, my mother thinks so much about you, man. She loved you. And I want to thank you. And he said, if you ever want a trip back to New York, come up to Rome and I'll give you a free trip there and back. But I think everything you, as a son, you would think that that's the best thing to do because your mother don't know anything about a black man, but he takes her and long story short, I went to pick up one day. She said, son, I got to leave. My son going to take care of him. And I didn't think anything of it. She said, but I want to give you something in memory. The woman gave me antique radio worth over 100 years old. Gave me painting. She said, I want you to keep this. And today, I still have it. And I wanted to stay over there longer, but General Brown said, look, son, you need to go back to United States, get you an education. And that's what I did. And I think that old woman, she was like a mother to me. And today, I know she done probably passed on, but that was the woman that two old ladies took care of me like a mother. Follow the story. When I left there, I went to Hanscom Air Force Base, and I did exactly what the Colonel Brown told me: go get you an education. I worked up in CSC, and I worked for a guy they called Bob Novak, and he kept telling me, "Man, we got to go get us some education, and we can do this together in the office." We went and signed up in Western New England. I stayed there. Follow the story. I stayed there. I got me an associate's degree. I got a bachelor's degree. And then I got a master's degree. All I had to do is get the ball rolling. I worked in the gym. Everybody knew me at Hanscom Air Force Base because I taught 3 classes a day. I worked out in the gym. That was my life. If you was in Bedford, if you was anywhere close around the Hanscom Air Force, I taught classes at 5 o'clock in the morning. I taught a lunchtime class, and then I taught a night class. And if you see how many people was in class, I was in top shape. I came from Europe. I coached the track and field, took my team all the way to Berlin, and you got to understand, played racquetball. I was always in the gym. Gym was my life. So when I left Hanscom Air Force Base, I went down to Kirkland Air Force Base, and I attended the academy. And again, I got the highest award at the academy. I got the Commandant's Award. It go to show you, it's not where you start, it's where you end up at. And I want to share this with you. When I left Hanscom Air Force Base, I was in charge of the publications office. And I went and they asked me to open up an ROTC in Springfield. And as I went to Springfield, I opened up the ROTC, and believe me or not, that was the best job I had in my life. After the principal started telling me all the negative things about the school, and I told her, I want the challenge. It's not what they can do for me, it's what I can do for this school. The school was all ran down. School had all this different kind of old dirty furniture. And she said, how much would it cost to get you out here? We done interviewed a lot of guys and we feel like you can help us out. I said, if the price is right, then I'll come out. I go back to my job and Lisa said to me, man, this principal been calling you. Please call her back. I called her back. What would it take for you to get out here? And I told her, so you got to at least compare what I'm making versus my transportation. She gave me a deal I couldn't refuse. I started July the 1st. And July the 1st, I went out to the school. I said, I know where we can get all kind of furniture and computers at. The first day, we had 4 or 5 U-Haul coming to Hanscom Air Force Base, picking up old furniture. Before, when school came in, all these teachers had new desks, had computer screen. I got it all from Hanscom Air Force Base through Mr. Bill Hunter. And I'm gonna say this: we hauled so much furniture from Hanscom Air Force Base. We pretty much supplied the whole Springfield Public School with furniture. I got time off with other custodians to go and pick up furniture. Everybody at Putnam High School, they know that I am the one that bought all the new furniture in the school. This before school started. And once I started the school, kids tend to size you up. The first day of school, that's when we opened up the ROTC. And believe me, I kind of stand out in front of a crowd because that military uniform told those kids a lot about me. And what the uniform was telling those boys is that, look out, dog. That boy look like he eat weights. And we ain't gonna fool with him because we assume that those military boys know karate and they know how to kill. And we don't, this one looked kind of intimidating. Okay, but it wasn't about intimidating, it's the way I set myself up in the uniform. And I can say this, that's the best job I've ever had, teaching ROTC. If you were there from 1995 to 2015, there is no way that you didn't know me in Springfield. I'm not talking about the public school. It's what I did for the city of Springfield. And I want to say this to each and every last one of y'all. It's not where you start, it's where you finish. I coached the girls' basketball team. I had exercise classes set up at Putnam High School. I had weight training class for teachers. That's all I understand was working out. And I promoted fitness at Putnam High School. I had some bad experiences at Putnam High School, but that didn't hold me back. And if you read my book, Grew Up in the Deep South and Saved by Many Angels, you'll be amazed about what took place at Putnam High School. But my kids was a priority. No matter what they said or what they did, they know they can come to me, and they know that Sergeant had control over a lot of stuff. They tell me how teachers abusing them, how teachers misuse them. And once I approach the teacher, all bets are off. Now, when I say to you that God can make us somebody out of nobody, but I want you to listen to this, and please, and when you hear this, it may sort of amaze you in many ways. But do you remember the woman at the well? Do you remember the story about the woman at the well? That this woman was bleeding for 12 years. She done went to the doctors and they couldn't do anything for her, and she heard Jesus coming through. And so if you read the story, she wanted to make sure that she was there. She made her way through the crowd, and she said, if I can just touch him, I know I'll be healed. So as she made her way through the crowd, now follow the story now, and she made her way through the crowd. Think about this. And there was a woman in the crowd. I'm going to read it for you. You go to Mark the 6th chapter. And there was a woman in the crowd who had a bleeding for 12 years. She had suffered a great deal of many doctors through years and spent everything she had paid for. But she got no better. In fact, the girl got worse. She had heard about Jesus. So she came up behind him through the crowd and touched his fringe or his robe. But through the thought to herself, if I can just touch his clothing, I know I'll be healed. I will be healed. Immediately, the bleeding stopped, and she could feel that she had been healed. And Jesus realized at once that healing power had gone out from him. So he turned around in the crowd and asked, who touched my garment? Follow the story. His disciples said to him, this is what the disciples said. All this crowd is pressing around you. How can you ask? How can you ask who touched me? But he kept on looking around to see who had done it. Then the frightening woman, trembling and realized of what had happened to her. Follow this. Came and fell at her feet and told him what she had done. And he said to her, daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace, and you have been healed. Now, what is that telling you? Now, this woman been bleeding for these many years, then went to the doctor and spent all the money. And the only thing she said, if I can touch him. Now, this woman here, you got to understand, she was considered to be nobody, but Jesus made her into somebody, just like he can make you. But before, I want you to follow my story, which I didn't. Everywhere that I got stationed, and I was in a car accident. And I think I said to you, I was medevac from Italy to Germany. Everywhere I've been to, God have been with me. And I want to say this to all of my brothers and sisters out there. It's not where you start in life, it's where you finish. Let me continue something. I promised my mother, once I retired, that I would come spend some time with her. But before I retired, my mother called me. She said, boy, look, they got a house right up by us, 12 acres of land. And a little sign up in the in the tree. Nobody know about it, but unless you know it. He says for sale. And I said, where? And once she told me the location, it's right around the curve from her and right in the front of the woman who had the slave and the woman who taught me a lot about white and black. So again, follow the story. When I came back here, I think I'm going ahead. When I left basic training, I came back. They gave me a 10-day to go and visit your parents before I went to California. That first day I got off the plane, 2 hours later, I was in a shootout. I took my uniform off. My mother kept saying, boy, don't get yourself in no trouble. And be careful. You're not the same person you were before. Yeah. But what did I do? I called the person who I was getting in trouble with. And I told him, I said, man, meet me across town because I'm here for 10 days. Show you how God works. Showed up across town. Another buddy was mine. But these two guys didn't like each other. But they were seeing the same old lady. So when I walked into the bar room and he walking out, and he said, hey, Clay, man, I'm so glad, man, that you go in the military, man. I'm going to come and see you. As he walked away, the buddy who I came with punched him in the head. He walked away and pulled out a pistol. And he started shooting. He wasn't trying to kill me. He was trying to kill Jerry. I jumped on side the fig tree, and I ricocheted the bullet off my head. And I want you to follow the story. After the first couple of shots, my buddy who I came with fell down like he was dead. I thought he was dead. And the other guy ran to the police station. And he came back around and said, look, I done killed them. And during the time he was coming back, my friend jumped up and said, man, that cat missed me. That boy can't shoot. And I'm saying, no, I know this ain't real. I'm still in sort of a disarray about just what happened. So the police then rushes around. And they said, where is he? And my friend, Jerry, said, where is who? And my friend said, hey, man, you better learn how to shoot, boy. Now, he's in the back of the police cell car. And the police looked at me and he said, Clayton Jr., aren't you in the military now? Yes, sir. Why are you coming back here doing the same stuff that you got in trouble with before you left? Your mother doing everything in the world for you, boy. You coming back getting the same stuff. Now, I'll tell you what, y'all better get across that river and don't you come back no more. Now, you got to understand, I went home the same day. I told my mother what happened. She said, what? She said, get on that plane. Change your ticket. I don't need you around here. That could have been you got killed. changed my ticket. Now that was a Friday. I left that Sunday. I changed my ticket. I had 10 days. I goes out to California. Let me show you how things happen. 3 months later, I'm having a nightmare about what took place. And I called my mother at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I said, Mother, I can't sleep. I'm thinking about, she said, boy, who called you? I said, Mother, and nobody called me. I'm using a paid telephone. She said, so nobody called you. And I'm trying to figure out what she was talking about. And she said, nobody called you? I said, nope. She said, Jerry Campbell just got killed 3 hours ago. I said, what? This time, Todd didn't miss him. He killed him as he was going to this woman's house. I'm having a nightmare. And this thing took place before I called my mother. These are the kind of people that I grew up around. Friends killed each other. This is the kind of world that I came from. When I tell you God can take somebody, make him take nobody, I'm a living example. I was a troubled kid in school. I didn't hardly go to school because I figured that I wanted to work to help take care of my family. I worked in Jimville and Beanfield all my life. But I said that to say this. If anybody was at Putnam High School or throughout Massachusetts, they know me through Mitre Pan because I was always playing ball or teaching fitness somewhere in Massachusetts. And I was teaching at some of the biggest clubs, fitness clubs in Massachusetts. I was addicted to working out. No matter where you start at, is how you finish. I want to thank God that He's given me the ability to communicate with all my brothers and sisters. But let me share this one thing. When I went in the military, and all my friends used to tell me, say, what do you want me to get you for a Christmas present? And this to God heaven true. I said, get me an English book. And they kept saying, oh man, come on, man, be for real. I said, man, just give me an English book. And believe me, because I know there was something that I was lacking in, was communication skill. And you got to understand, when you done been taught 12 years of bad English, well, it's going to take you at least about 12 years to at least try to correct it. And all my friends bought me English books because that's what I was needing. And as I progressed in the military, you learn to comprehend. You learn to pass those CDCs, those book works. It makes it much easier if you can read and understand and be able to deliver. So, my brothers and sisters, from all my Springfield, and I need to share this with you before I do my closing. Let me show you. I became an inventor at Putnam High School. I became an author of a book at Putnam High School. And all the kids know me. They know me from being teaching ROTC, but they know me also after I took the uniform off. Because I want to tell you this, and I think most of the boys can work with me on this. I was probably one of the most dominant guys out there at Putnam High School until a lot of them young boys, I had to, just like everything else, you got to train them. And I had an opportunity, and I thank Kevin McCaskill. I said, Kevin, can I open the gym up every Saturday? He said, as long as you got control of the kids, but he already knew I had control because he know that kids already sized me up. They knew that I wasn't going to take a lot of, whatever. So he allowed me to open the gym up, and I opened the gym up every Saturday. And you would think that it was a basketball tournament going there. I opened up the gym from 11 to 2. And believe me, at 10:30, they out there waiting. But it's one thing that I will say to you, I had control. I set the rules before you come in. If you can't deal with the rules, don't come in. And I can honestly say, if you start any type of confusion, don't come back. And believe me, I had sometime 10 teams out that way. Even Kevin played on the weekend. And because it was a place that he allowed me to keep these kids off the street. And got to understand. And also I received, they called it the Beacon Award from the mayor of Springfield. He gave me the award because of what I've done for the city of Springfield. I bought over $1 million of furniture and equipment to the Springfield Public School. And a lot of people don't know. I don't want them to wrap their arms around me. As I said to them, it's not what you can do for me, it's what I can do for you. And just even right now, God have blessed me to go out and help people. Tell people, no matter where you start, is how you end. People need to be inspired. They need to be told how good they are. They already know how bad they are. But sometimes you can lift a person up by saying certain words to them. And I want to say to you and all my other friends out there, God has been good to me, and he's good to you because God gave you the gift of life through our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Life is a gift. Have you learned to accept it? It's a puzzle. Can you solve a puzzle? It's a journey. Can you go on a journey without being lost? Huh? I'm just asking the question. We need each other in this world because we are not fighting against flesh and blood. We're fighting against those evil spirits out there. Understand, we are in this world together. God brought us here for a reason. God did not bring trash in this world. He don't do that. You was a gift from God. We was all came here equally. We allowed the enemy to change us from whom God had sent us out here to be. Where's your heart is? Your money or God? And if you say both of them, you're lying. Wherever your heart is where you is at. I believe that if we can work together and we can stay together and understand each other and love each other together, come on. What are we doing? What are we doing with each other? We need to learn to accept each other as human beings. Look how many things that I've accomplished being a troublemaker in school. But the last thing that I want to tell you, show you how God worked. I came back. Remember the place that I told you I was in a shootout in? Well, I own the place now. The same place, God made a way that now I own the place. I had to go through a lot of trials and tribulation, but they kept telling me, if this place is for you, you're going to get it. And I have it. And I want to thank God that he can make a way out of no way. Do you believe in God? Do you believe that he's going to be with you no matter what you do or what you say? Until next time, I hope this took you on a journey how God can take a nobody and make him into somebody. I am a living example of a troublemaking kid throughout school, a hardworking mother. You understand? Sometimes that hard love is good love. My mother gave us what she had. She could not give us something that she don't have. It's the way she was raised. It's the way she raised us. You understand? I thought the girl was trying to assassinate me so many times, but it's because she showed me love. I feel like I was the guinea pig. But I thank God for that tough love was good love. Honor your mother and your father. Treat them with kindness and passion and help them as much as you can. Because your day is going to come that every knee must bow, every tongue must confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, and glory be to God the Father. Say your prayers every morning. Ask God to strengthen you because this war that we are in, only God can save us. Follow your dream. Believe. God got the power, all powers in his hand. Pray for those who despitefully use you. Until next time, may God bless you and your family and all the peoples around you. Thank you for listening. Adios.